How in the hell did this happen?
Adam Bonilla bagged the chip lead on day 1A, and here he is, final 14 players, having the run of his freaking life. Fold announced, and Bonilla gets away with one there.
That is a Bonilla fold that is like out of this world.
Ooh.
I mean, every single table that we've had, there has been some awesome aggression.
What's up? Welcome to my first live vlog. I'm here outside of the Poker Go studio outside of Aria. We are gonna try to get into this Poker Go studio, which is a crazy idea, but we're gonna go for it. It's Saturday and they have a satellite tournament to go into the Poker Go Cup. It's a 360 satellite. Let's see how it goes. Update on the satellite. So we're doing pretty good. We're in the late stages now. We have 2 tables left. We are on break for a few minutes here. Got an interesting hand to go over. I got pocket kings against the most aggressive player in the whole tournament who's got a giant stack. I'm about number 2 in chips right now, maybe number 3 in chips. I'm not sure of the other table. He's definitely number 1 in chips. He opens under the gun. I have pocket kings. I 3-bet. He 4-bets. I'm like, damn, don't tell me I'm running into aces here. We got 6 away, we're 4 away from the money. Top 5 get an entry, and 6th place is about $2,500 for not getting quite to the $3,300 mark you need to enter the tournament. So 5 seats plus $2,500 for 6th place. I'm like, don't tell me I'm running into aces here, but this guy is super, super aggressive. And I'm like, all right, so he 4-bets, I just flat. The flop comes out 10 jack. I'm sorry, no, the flop comes out 9 10 jack, and I'm like, all right, so what's his 4-betting range? Maybe jacks, maybe 10s, maybe 9s, you know, potentially with this guy. So I'm hoping not to run into a set. He checks to me. I see bet for 25% of the pot, which is big at this point, and he raises, and I'm like, he raised about 3x, and I'm like, dude, don't tell me I'm running into a set here at this stage. And why are we betting so much? We're number 1 and 2 in chips, maybe 1 and 3 in chips. In satellites, it's a lot different. You don't need to get all the chips. You just need to stay alive until you get to the top 5 places in this one, or top 6 for money. So I'm like, why are we battling here so hard? Let's just pot control this pot. What's going on? But I guess he's not. He's going for all the chips. So hey, good for him. I'm like, if you could beat kings, you got a set here, then you got a set, whatever. So I call. The flop comes, the turn comes a queen. So I got the straight, you know, I got a 9-10 jack queen king. I'm like, well, hopefully he doesn't have ace king here. I don't think he's raising me on the turn or on the flop with ace king here. The board wasn't suited, so it wasn't like there was a flush draw or anything like that, so I'm not worried about that. But if he's got ace king here, hey, good for him. But hopefully he does got pocket jacks or pocket queens here, because I got the straight. So he checks to me, I bet, and he jams for like infinite blinds. I don't know how many blinds we have right now at this point, but he's got close to 70 blinds. I probably have close to 50. I mean, we're doing great. I'm like, why are we playing this pot here? So of course I call. I got the straight, and he actually has pocket 8s. He's got the bottom end of the straight, 8, 9, 10 jack queen, and he says to me, how could you call? He actually says, how could you call there? On the flop, I could have had 10s, I could have had jacks, I could have had 9s, I could have had queen king. How could you call on the flop there on that raise? And I'm like, are we in the world here? How can we call? How can I fold to you? You're the most aggressive player in this entire tournament. Anyway, it's a pretty funny hand. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. I was folding kings at any point to him. I mean, unless he shows me aces or an ace flop, I'm not folding kings to this guy. But unless I'm a total jerk, I can pretty much cruise into the tournament now. So I think I'm going to get into this Poker Go Cup. This is going to be pretty fun. All right, guys. So we did it. We are in the tournament. But funny thing on this. Hopefully it works out, because at the end of this final table here, when it was down to the final the final 7 or the final 6, we had to play to the top 5 because top 5 get an entry. And you know, 6th place was $2,500. So what are the odds of me doing good at this Poker Go Cup tomorrow? You know, it's against like 200 of the best players in the world. It's not so great. So I tell everyone, hey, I'm chip leading right now. If everyone gives me $100, I'll take the 6th place. And you know, that gives me $3,000. I can play these other tournaments, whatever. And I'm happy with $3,000 because my odds against, you know, the best guys in the world aren't aren't so good. I'll take the $3,000 money anytime. Everyone says okay, but one guy who's got like the short stack. He's the short stack. It's always the short stack, right? And he says, he's like, no, well, I want the money, so everyone give me 50. And then I'm like, you know what? No, we're gonna play it out. We're gonna play this out because I'm not taking anything less than $100. So anyway, whatever. It's $3,000. It's still, it's actually $3,300 for the total entry. But I thought it was kind of funny because at one point he says, no extra money. I'll just take it. I'll just take the 2,600. And everyone agreed. I said, no. Now we're playing it out because just to be that guy because he was being that guy to me. Anyway, kind of a funny story, and hopefully it doesn't bite me in the ass and I lose 3,000. But either way, it's going to be a fun experience. But hey, maybe it'll work out. You never know. You got to give yourself a shot. That's the one thing that I'm like weak about is I play a lot of these daily tournaments. I don't really ever challenge myself. I've been playing dailies for like 5 years. In Vegas, I play like dailies almost every day. These $200, you know, dailies, $100 dailies. It's what are we in March right now? I've got 17 first places so far this year in dailies, but they're small. They're like, you know, Caesars dailies with 3-4 tables and, you know, just small tournaments here and there. But you know, why not challenge yourself and have some fun? I'm actually really excited to be in the Poker Go Cup. I'm not regretting it now, even just for the experience, play against these guys. But hopefully, I don't, you know, punt it off in the early stages. All right, it's 6 a.m. We're at the gym here, and this is how I get started for a poker day. I think a lot of people don't talk about how important it is to get your mind right, get your body right for a long session of poker, because these poker sessions could be, you know, 12, 14 hours a day. So this is how I get started. So I start every poker morning off with some morning cardio and my Dutch Bros. Got to get that coffee in. If you've never had Dutch Bros, you're missing out. So I'd start off, usually do 20 minutes cardio, 30 minutes cardio, split the machines up, and then I start doing some stretches, which probably seems weird, but these are the muscles that are getting really tight from sitting all day long, like your hip flexors and your lower back. Really important to stretch those because you're gonna be sitting for a long time and those muscles get tight, cause lower back pain. And then I do the sauna, get about 20 minutes of the sauna in, and then I'll head over to my least favorite part of the day, which is the cold shower or cold plunge sometimes. You know, there's a lot of health benefits to it, so I do it, but man, I do not look forward to it. But my treat after it is going to Bagel Mania, one of my favorite places to eat breakfast. You'll see me there a couple times a week at least. And during big poker tournaments, you actually see a lot of poker players that go here because it's right next to the strip. I saw Eric Seidel there eating a bagel the other day. I wanted to go up and say hi, but I want to ruin his breakfast and be that guy. You know, just a couple like Vegas things you should be aware of. Like if you've never been to Vegas or you're not a Vegas local, go to Pink Box Donut. I get the poo donut. It's like the favorite donut, like a double chocolate donut. And anyway, these are the bagels at Bagel Mania. Ton of variety here. A lot of healthy options for starting off for your day, you know, and it's a cool little restaurant to sit. It's right next to Resorts World, so you can go there, get a bagel, get a good healthy breakfast, get a donut for later, and then you know, this is the bagel I get, the Mike O'Hearn, which is like a bodybuilder guy, and it's full of protein and it's good for the day. Some protein, some fats, healthy stuff, keep you filled for a few days. And then I head home and start practicing and you know, get my mind right. Get about 400 hands of practice in, some studying in before I go, so I'm kind of like already warmed up for the day. And now I'm gonna head over to the tournament. And honestly, like I'm walking in this Poker Go studio and seeing who's there is like just trying to deal with the nerves and try to play my game. You know, I think, you know, they're not going to be, how much better are they really going to be than me? Well, we know the answer to that's a lot, but I'm going to try to do what I can here, and I'm just trying not to let the weight of it, you know, make my play bad. I've played with some of these guys before, but it's just like one or two here and there, like a WSOP event, but not like a whole table. So this is just a totally different thing. So I'm doing my little tourist thing here before everyone gets in, so I don't look stupid like on the first time. I don't want to look like the fish. I know I already am the fish to them because they've never seen me, but I don't want to look like it. So I'm getting these videos before, and I'm ready to get the day going. So here we go. I made it to break, yeah, interesting, getting settled and, getting used to everything there. I will say, I think I severely overestimated how much more difficult it would be to play against, a bunch of killers like this. I've never played against this many, crushers at one table, but I have played against a lot of crushers. I do play here and there against some of these guys, but it's usually they're the star on the table, and it's pretty rare that you're going to run into, too many pots with them. It's just, and you might be for a few hours, that type of thing, but never 6 crushers with, a million plus on the table at the same time, that type of thing. You might get one guy like that at a WSOP table early on in the fields that I play, because I play the smaller events, but you're not running into these guys unless I'm not playing high rollers or anything like that. So, but in the end, it's just poker. I would say if you're thinking about playing one of these bigger fields and tougher fields, go for it. It's actually not that crazy. It is different here than other places because they play 7-handed at the Poker Go Studio, or at least in this tournament they're playing 7-handed, and the gameplay is way faster. Of course, there's a lot more 3-betting. It's a lot more aggressive in that regard, but you're not actually playing 7-handed most of the time. You're playing, or I guess most of the time you are. A lot of the time you're not playing 7-handed. You're playing 6-handed because people are getting moved, people are busting, and your table might be short one, just like at other tournaments. But when there's 9 players on a table and one guy's missing, you don't really notice it so much like you do here. Here you notice it. The blinds come around a lot faster. This isn't, I guess you could call it a turbo. It's 30-minute levels, so it is kind of fast but the way the blinds work, it actually doesn't feel so fast, but it is a little fast. So the game's a little fast, but I'm doing pretty good. I got a pretty good stack going actually, which is, I'm happy to have any stack at this point. I'm at break, so I'm happy to make it here so far. I'm just enjoying every moment. A couple funny stories. And I'll go into some hands and whatnot. I didn't write anything down, so excuse if I'm forgetting positions and whatnot. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I got to play with Kerry Katz on my table. There's actually a lot of crushers on my table. Jeff Platz is on my table. Kerry Katz is on my table. And if you guys don't know who Kerry Katz is, he's definitely one of the legends of the game. I think he's got 40 million in earnings. If you ever watched that viral hand where he had pocket aces versus pocket aces in $1 million tournament, and he ended up winning with 4 to a flush, that's just the worst bad beat I've ever seen. So everyone's seen that hand, but a super cool guy. And I was just all over him. I was all over him more than I've been all over players probably ever. And it wasn't because I was outplaying him or anything like that. I just kept getting, he had a good hand and I had a better hand. He had a good hand and I had a better hand. So I'll give you a couple of scenarios. I moved to his table right off the back. I get a good ace. I raise his blind. He folds. A couple hands later, about 6 hands later, because the next orbit, same thing happens. I get a pocket pair on the button. In his big blind, I open. He folds. So I just sat at his table, and he's like, "Dude, this guy's stealing all my blinds." Then he ends up opening early position. I'm in the big blind. I defend with King 3 suited. The flop comes out King X. I forget, it was King, I think 7. He bets. I call. The turn comes a 3, of course, right? Because I'm just running so good against carry. So I got a boat. I check. He bets. I call. The turn comes out a blank. He bets. I raise, and he makes a crying call. Flips over aces, and I'm like, sorry, man. I just had the boat, right? And before that, he has King Jack. He opens early position. I call. I have pocket 3s. I'm on the button. Flop comes out King 3 5, right? So, of course, I hit a set. Of course, he hits top pair again. He bets. I call. The turn comes an 8. He bets. I raise because it actually puts 2 diamonds on the board. And the board's getting a little bit scarier. So I raise. He ends up making a good laydown, and he ends up telling me later that he ended up having King Jack that hand. So it was a good laydown on his part because I had to set. And then later on, a few hands later, he's getting short stack because he's losing some chips here and there, right? We've been in some pretty decent pots together, so he's getting a little short stacked. It's on his. He's under the gun again. He opens. I'm on the button. And I have ace queen. I raise, he jams. I have to call at that point. There's just not enough chips for me to fold. He ends up flipping over pocket jacks. I have ace queen. The flop is clean. The turn is clean. And of course, I river a queen. And I'm like, oh man. And this is a guy, I wanted to play with him so long. He's a legend of the game. I super respect him. He owns, I don't know if he still owns Poker Go, but I know he founded Poker Go. So one of the reasons I watched so much poker is because of him. So I really wanted to play with him a while longer. And then he walks over to me, like the nicest guy in the world, walks over to me and he goes, "I don't think I beat you in a single hand." And then I tell him, I'm like, "Kerry, like, just so you know, like I didn't outplay you a single hand. Like I had it every single time I played against you. And even when you were ahead on the flip, I win. It was just my day against you." And then we went over some hands. And I told him, I'm like, "Yeah, I had threes there." And he's like, "Oh, I had King Jack." He's like, so he made good laydowns, and it was what it was. It's just one of those things where it just happens that way sometimes. And on his end, it's like, this guy's still in my blinds. He's calling King 3. He's winning races against me. He's like, check raise. Like I could see on his end, because I'd get frustrated if I was on his end. I just wouldn't believe me. I'd be like, "Dude, you can't have it every time." And I was like, "Dude, I actually had it every time." Which is one of those scenarios. But he was super cool. He rebought. He's still in the tournament now. And then I ended up getting in some hands with Jeff Platt. Jeff Platt was short stacked on the table, so he was in the big blind when I was on the button. I opened with King Jack, and he jams. I have to fold, and then a couple orbits go by again. I get Ace 3 on the button. I open again. He jams, and I'm like, "Dude, what's going on? You seem like this super nice guy. You got this sweet voice. You're always just like, I don't think you're gonna be this shark. You sit down at my table, and every time I'm playing you, I'm facing a jam." And he's like, "Well, I had an ace there. If I was any good." I was like, "Yeah, I had like an Ace 3 suited or something." He's opening for like 12, 15 blinds, and then they end up moving me table. You're moving a lot in this tournament, so you are moving tables often. And then me and Jeff were having like a pretty good banter back and forth. And he's like, "No, don't move him. He's fun." So he was cool. So hopefully I'll get to play with him again. He is short, so we'll see if he can double up and keep going. I didn't give him any of my chips. So anyway, I will say at the Poker Go studio, they treat the players really, really well. Better than any place I've ever been, ever. And I've played literally everywhere. Well, literally everywhere in like the US. I've played a lot of places. But with your buy-in, they even give you like $30 credit for food, and the people come by and they take your order on like a actual menu, and it's sponsored by this beef jerky company, and you can just grab beef jerky, like bags of beef jerky, to eat at the table. Of course, they have drink service and all that too for free, but I mean, they treat you like really, really well here. So yeah, that's it so far. We'll see if I can make it to the end of the day and make day 2. Today's a little lighter. There's, I think, 50, I want to say there's 50-ish people right now. There's going to be some late regs that come in at the end of break, so we'll see how many are on day 1. But there's also Win Millions is going on, so it's competing with today. It's like finishing, so all the guys who are making it into day 2 or 3, whatever it is, at the win are not here. So I think tomorrow's going to be a little heavier. So I'm hoping to make it into day 2. Like, just really want to play with some of these guys. I know there's going to be some big names in the field. Like I know that Chino Reem is coming. I know there's going to be like Jonathan Little's here. I haven't played with him yet. I want to play with him. So it's just like, I'm just trying to play, and you know, whether I win or lose, I just want to have a good time and play with some of these guys that I've watched for so long and looked up to for so long. So we'll see what happens after break. Hopefully I got another story for you. All right, so just got back home. We did it. We made it to day 2. We bagged. Actually, we bagged the chip lead, which is crazy. I mean, crazy day. Crazy day. There was one spot at the end that I kind of regret now, but it's okay. It's actually really funny. I was in this huge hand at the end with Kai, and he had the second biggest chips. I actually ended up getting pocket aces. This is like very towards the end. We're in the stone cold bubble. He was the second biggest stack. I was the biggest stack at the time, and he opens under the gun. I 3-bet under the gun 1 with a pocket aces. Right, it folds back to him. He calls. Flop comes out. He bets about half pot. I jam I jammed quite a bit at that point. I think I jammed like 1.3, and I have aces. I don't need to jam there. You know, he has maybe, I think at that point he had about 600,000 behind. You know, the smart move there is to just call and let him bet turn, and then maybe jam turn. But, you know, I will say playing a little bit scared, which I got to stop doing at this. It's just a big spot for me. I'm really just concerned with getting to day 2 at this point. You know, I'm already up. I think the minimum cash is 5,600. So, you know, I spun up $360 to 5,600 at minimum. And I really just want to play with some of these guys tomorrow, you know, more than anything. I kind of don't care about the money. I just want to get to the spot. And I have a little bit of a PTSD from the WSOP. I had a big hand in the WSOP in day 2, and it was like early in day 2. I still cashed, but actually had same exact scenario, aces versus kings. We got it all in on the flop. There was no king on the board or anything like that, and then a king hit the turn, and I was like, dude, how do I play for, it was like at that point like 16, 17 hours, and then I lose to a 2-outer with 2 cards to come, you know. So I definitely didn't want that to be my day and be on the stone cold bubble on the at the Poker Go Cup. But it's funny because me and Kai have been kind of chatting back and forth the whole day. We've been pretty cool. I talked to him on break a little bit. Super nice guy from Australia. I really like the guy. And when I jammed, which is like the worst way to play aces there, you know, if there was like more of a scary board, I could see it, but there's like really no reason not to try to get all the chips in and just, you know, take the risk there. And that's how I'll always play it. But this scenario, I just want to get the day 2. Whatever the money is, the money is. Obviously, if this was a different scenario, I wouldn't play that way. But he goes, he's like, do you really have him again? Like when I jam, he's burning his time cards. He's like, do you really have him again? And I was like, yeah, I know it's crazy, but I actually do. Which is, you know, so dumb of me. But it's one of those things where I just want to get to day 2. There's only 600,000 more behind. There's like, at this point, I have 2.3 million in chips. Yeah, I should try to get those chips and then end it on the end the tournament right there on the bubble. But I mean, how many times are you really going to believe me too? He's like, do you really? I was like, I really do. I was like, if you need, I'll show you, you know, like I can show you. And then so he's burning time cards. And he's like, you really have them? Like, it was so funny. I'm like, well, I can't tell you, but I got what you're thinking I got. I do. And he's like, he ends up folding. And then I end up showing him the aces, and he pulls his cards back, his mucked cards, and he's like, and he shows me kings, and he's like, he gets up and cheers. I'm like, it's all good, buddy. I'm like, you don't have like that much where I'm worried about it behind it. The bubble's gonna be over in a second here. I just want to get to day 2, and I don't want to bust you. You're a nice guy, you know. But it was just funny. He goes, I can't believe they set us up like that. They give the 2 big stacks, aces versus kings. He's like, that's such a setup. And I was like, I'm happy with how many chips I got there. I ended up still getting like about 700,000 in that pot, I think. No, I guess it was more than that. So I'm sorry for getting the numbers. I didn't write these down. I'll be better about this. I'm not a vlogger, but this one I thought I'd vlog. So if you guys like these, I like this vlog. It's probably gonna be longer format, but it's more of like a diary for me about my experiences going into this big spot for me, and I'm really enjoying it. I think I'm gonna play a few more big spots, and I won't play scared in the future ones. But this one, I got to day 2, so I'm pumped. They have day 1B tomorrow, and there's gonna be a lot of names in that one. So we'll see who we play against in this day 2. So I pull into the Aria parking lot. I'm feeling good. My mind is right. And I get out of the car to head towards the Poker Go studio. And I look back at my car and my passenger door's open. I'm like, that's weird. You know, I drive a Tesla, so the doors can automatically open maybe if I accidentally hit the app. So whatever, I look back, I go to close the door. And there's a guy in there trying to rob my car. He opened the door when I walked away. Here's the video of it. So I go back to close the door, and he's right there trying to get into the car, and he just takes off running in the Aria parking lot. And instinctually, you know, I close my door first, and I start running after this guy. I'm chasing this guy. I'm chasing this guy through the Aria parking lot. I don't know what I'm going to do if I catch this guy, but I want to catch this guy for trying to steal my car, get the security there. So he's running through, I'm running through. Then I start thinking in my head, dude, what are you doing? What are you going to do if you catch this guy? Like, what are you going to do? I don't even think he got anything yet, right? There's nothing in there that there's nothing valuable in my car that he could have gotten, right? There's no valuables in there at all. So I don't know. I stop. I have a moment of clarity. You know, like I stop. I tell the security, give them the cameras of this guy, the video of this guy. And I'm like literally minutes before. And I'm like, if you catch this guy, I'm thinking in my head, if I catch this guy, I'm going to have to tackle him. I'm going to have to hold him. I'm going to miss like, who knows, 20 minutes of blind levels with talking to the police and security guard if I were to catch this guy. And it could, who knows what could happen if I even do catch this guy or tackle this guy. I'm playing for $130,000. What the hell am I doing, right? So I just give up on it. I give the video to the security guards and I walk over to the Poker Go studio. I'm still flustered out, ruined my whole morning in terms of like my zen and my good feeling. It is not the way you want to start a poker tournament. So I sit down, try to relax a little bit, get my chips together, and get the poker tournament started. But man, what a way to get this day started. So I settle down, get my chips ready, and get the day started. I look at my table draw, and it is a doozy, of course. You know, that's what you can expect here at these at the Poker Go studio. You're going to play against the best. My table draw, I got Anthony Zeno to my direct left, 5-time bracelet winner. Chino Ream, Victoria Lifshitz, owner of Octopi Poker. I mean, it's a doozy, you know, but I expected nothing less at this place. So trying to just enjoy the day and understand I'm be playing against some of the best in the world here and navigate my way through the day, you know, and we are on the start of day 2, and the bubble has just bursted for everyone. We get basically combined day 2 together now, and there is 31 players left in the tournament, and there's a lot of short stacks. So as the day's going on, people are falling, you know, they're getting out of their seats, and they are going all in, and they're dropping off pretty quickly. So we're playing for a few hours, and you know, these are 30-minute levels too, so there's not a lot of time. Before you know it, there is 16 players left. It's kind of a crazy scenario. I'm like living a dream right now. I'm navigating my way through this. I'm running into a couple good situations. You know, I ran into a set versus an overpair. I ran into aces versus queens at one point. And I've been navigating my way through the day, you know, making some moves here and there, but for the most part, playing, you know, pretty by the book. And I find myself in the chip lead. I'm chip leading. I can't even believe this. I'm chip leading the Poker Go Cup with 16 players left. I got 2.8 million in chips. I'm tied with Miles Mullally, and it's just an insane moment. We're playing pretty fast though, and you know, this tournament's not going to last much longer because they only play 7-handed, but there's only 16 players left, which means they're playing a table of 5, 5, and 6. So it is going pretty quick. The turbo level is going pretty quick, and you really can't sit around like I'd like to. You know, I want to sit around and ladder up and you know, make my moves when I can, but the blinds are coming around every, you know, 3 hands. You're in the big blind ante, you're in the small blind. You know, I think at one point we were at the table of 5, and it was like, yeah, every 3 hands. I think now I was at a table of 6. So yeah, it's going for a while. I'm getting nervous every time they do a draw for the TV table. I'm like, oh man, don't draw us. It's like all luck how they do it. They basically draw, and you kind of, your table gets picked kind of thing. But they want everyone to have an even shot. So eventually it has to be your table. And we're actually the last table to finally get in, and we get in. And so I'm like, all right, here we go. You know, we are on the TV table, and this is how a couple of the hands went.
Watching poker can get mundane at some points, but not this hand. We got ace king on the button, and the chip leader here, ace 5 off. This is sometimes you would want to bluff with it, but instead we see, hey, let's VPip, let's call, let's see a flop.
Queen 5. Geba takes the lead here.
All right, so pretty standard play so far. I'm on the button with ace king off, and I open to 2.2. Geba defends with ace 5, as he should. Flop comes out queen 5. Geba takes the lead, of course, hitting his 3-outer against my ace king. He checks, setting up a check raise, and I fall for it and go with a standard C bet in this spot, which I'm going to be C betting most of my range here against this paired board flop. And he rightfully, you know, check raises with the lead. So I'm in a position here where I have to think about and analyze this hand and think, okay, what is he actually raising with? All right, so does he have any queens here? Yeah, of course he can have some queens here. The big blind can have a lot here. Can he have spades here? Is he check raising me with spades? Most likely he would be check raising me here. I'm thinking with spades. He's going to be defending almost every suited hand. He's going to be defending things like ace 5, king 5 suited. You know, any ace could be ace 5 like he has here. But he could also be defending, you know, connected cards, you know, 4, 5, 5, 6 in that big blind. With his chip stack, he can be defending, you know, quite a bit. He's going to be defending any suited queen as well. And there's only, you know, 2 queens left, so the queen of diamonds and queen of clubs. But he will be defending pretty much every suited queen out there. So there are those combos out there that I have to worry about. But knowing Geba and watching him play for a few hours, I don't think he's check raising a queen here. You know, I don't think he's the type of player to be worried about the spades, where he's going to check raise and defend, you know, kind of get me off my hand if he's got a queen here. I think he's a player that would just flat and let me see a turn and let me kind of hang myself. And if I check the turn, then hammer me on the river with that queen with a big bet and make me decide. I don't think he's the type of scared player where he's worried about those spades on that board. So I kind of eliminate the fact that he doesn't have a queen here. I think that if he's got a queen, especially a big queen, like an ace queen, king queen, even a queen jack, maybe even a queen 10 suited, I'm going to hear about him. He's a very aggressive player, and he has a chip lead. I'm going to hear about that on pre-flop. He's going to 3-bet me pre-flop with any of those hands. So there's very few queens he can have, and the way that he's playing it, I just don't think it's a queen. So I'm thinking, okay, he's got a 5, he's got spades, but he's not going to be that confident with the 5 here. He's just not versus me opening on the button. I haven't been opening into him. He's got a chip lead, and he knows that he knows that I know he's going to be defending really wide. So he knows if I'm opening his button, I do have a premium. At least that's what I think. So, so I think to myself, okay, how much will it take to get him off of 5 or to get him off of spades with the chip lead? And it's going to be pretty expensive.
And let's see how Ace King proceeds. Ace King, no spade.
650.
Ooh.
I mean, every single table that we've had, there has been some awesome aggression. People are just firing today.
And now let's see what Daniel makes of this. Very studious here in his gaze. And basically, Bonilla is kind of representing, well, okay, I'm going to fast play a queen here, or maybe I have aces and kings because I know that you could just be check raising here as a bluff or check raising here for value as thin as a 5 and queens with an ace kicker. And look at that. The best hand hits the muck.
Fold announced, and Bonilla gets away with one there.
That's sick.
Ace 5 was like the top of his range where I was thinking that where he was at. And so I re-raise here to 650, leaving myself about 1.5 behind. And, I was very playable at 50,000 in blinds. I'm thinking, okay. And if he jams here, I'm in shit creek. I just have to fold. There's nothing I could do here. I can't call it. I don't think I could call it off with ace king here because he probably did hit the 5. And if he does have something, let's say like jack 10 of spades, I'm pretty slim here, even with that ace high hero call there. So I'm gonna have to fold it if he jams here. Luckily, it gets through, and my heart rate is flying at this point. When I have this 650 and he looks over at me, my heart rate is absolutely flying, and I'm like, damn it, I should have worn my hat. I usually wear a visor and kind of covers my eyes with it. And I'm like, why did I wear this today? Because I think that he's good enough player to see. I'm trying to keep it composed, but luckily this one gets through. Jesus, thank you, it got through.
And that, everyone, is a PGT Satellite winner. He got into this event via the $360 buy-in Satellite. That was a 5-seat guarantee. That was to win an entry into Day 1A. Not only did he bag on Day 1A, but Adam Bonilla bagged the chip lead on Day 1A. And here he is, final 14 players, having the run of his freaking life. Let's go.
So I was on the TV table for about 2 levels, and there wasn't a whole lot of interesting hands that happened. I did make one mistake against Zeno, where I opened Jack 9 and he jammed, and the amount I would have had to call with Jack 9 suited in late position was easy snap call. But I actually thought he had more chips than he had. He had pocket 4s. It would have been a flip. But even if he had, if I saw that chips, I like took a second to actually count his chips, which I normally do. It would have been an easy call. It was like less than 50% more raise, at that point. That was a really stupid fold to me. But there's a lot going on here, and there's a lot of ladders going on, and that's something that I'm paying attention to. We have Zeno with the short stack, and there's 2 short stacks on the other table, and each ladder is around 5,000 to 6,500 now. So if you go from 14th to 12th place, it's going to be somewhere between $500 and $6,500 more to getting to 12th place. If you go to 12th to 10th place, it's going to be about $6,500 more going to 10th place. So I'm paying attention to the ladders, paying attention to the short stacks. There's a lot going on outside of just the TV table that you kind of don't see. I'm kind of in this weird spot where I have Zeno with the short stack with 8 blinds to my left, and then 1 over, I have the chip leader, who's the most aggressive player in the whole tournament, Giba. So I'm kind of in this weird scenario where I'm kind of handcuffed here with my range. So in this hand, I have a very interesting scenario. I have pocket 6s on the small blind, which 100% of the time, if it folds to me and Zeno, I'm jamming Zeno here. I'm trying to take his blinds with those pocket 6s, and if he's got cards to 2 overs, then and good for him, we're in a race. but more times than not, I'll be taking his blind with that hand there. But Mullally actually opens action on the button.
Couple of 10s here on the button for Miles Mullally. Makes it 120, and Bonilla finds 6s in the small blind.
Usually this would just be all in. And wait, oh my God, we just see a fold. I mean, that is something you never see because, again, what did I say? The button is raising 50% of the hands. So when you have smaller pairs like that, 6s in the small blind, you just jam. The big blind has to wake up with a premium, and then the button has to wake up with a premium. And the premiums that the button calls you with are like ace-10 suited, ace-jack off, king-queen suited for under 30 bigs. So that is a Bonilla fold that is like out of this world that somehow would have collided and made him, maybe lose a huge pot. Who knows? He could always hit a 6, but you never see a fold there ever.
So I'm sitting here with pocket 6s thinking, well, this is a late position open. I'm supposed to raise here and, take the pot down because late position, the button open is going to be a whole wider range, a whole wide hands. But then I think to myself, well, he really can't be opening that wide because he has Zeno with only 8 blinds. And he knows that Zeno's going to be forced to kind of put any hand in here. That's any ace that he sees, a king, queen, things like that. He has to open a lot tighter than he normally does, knowing that Zeno only has 8 blinds and he's probably not going to call. He's probably only going to jam with any reasonable hand here. So there might be some calls in there, but more times than not at 8 blinds, he's going to be jamming. So I think to myself, okay, what do I do with these 6s now at this point? Mullally's been quiet all night. He's really been playing. He hasn't gotten out of line. He's got a good table image. I mean, he's playing solid. He's not, if this was different, if this was Giba on the button, I'm raising here with these 6s. But Mullally's been pretty quiet. He's been playing very solid poker. So what am I to do here? Because if Mullally opens, I call, and then Zeno jams and reopens the action, and then Mullally rejams, I'm super screwed. There's nothing I can do with 6s here. I'm not. Best case scenario, I'd be up against like ace queen and king queen. I'm still up against 3 overcards, and I'm pretty slim there in that scenario. So I just choose to fight a different day, and I fold, which is not a move I would normally do. At minimum, I'm calling here. But with Zeno behind me and 2 short stacks in their table, there's just better hands to fight with, and I have to fold. And that's just kind of what you do in these scenarios. Even though depending on it's very player dependent and situation dependent. With that many short stacks, with Zeno having the chips that he has and Mullally playing as tight as he is, I'm folding these 6s here. And yeah, definitely outside the standard here. And even the announcers thought so as well. But luckily, this time, I was right.
And we saw Bonilla there on the screen kind of shake his head. He's not really sure if he folded, maybe a winning hand or what. But to his credit, that would have been a double up for Miles, depending how you play that. Like I said, normally you just jam those small pairs for sub 30, especially when you're the chip leader. If you get called there, it's usually by the overcards, not bigger pairs. That would have been one of those unfortunate pair versus pair spots, but Bonilla dodges it like Neo in the Matrix.
All right, so it's been about another hour and the blind levels are up. There's only 11 players left in the tournament, and this is the Poker Go studio and you play 7-handed here. So there's 11 players left and we play till you get to 7. So the final table is still quite a ways away when you look at it, and our table has 5 players on it. So with 5 players on the table and the blind levels now being at 50,000, 100,000, 100,000, you're at 250,000 in chips every 5 hand. Every orbit is 250,000 in chips. So at 1.9 million, you don't have that many hands. You got about 20 hands. If you folded every hand, you get like 20 hands, which is it's not that many. So you're forced to get a little bit active. I got into one hand with Mullally, which I was semi bluffing on an open-ended straight draw. I didn't bet a ton. I didn't lose a ton, but I ended up losing about 4 to 5 blinds on that hand, and he ended up having 2 pair in the small blind with a 6-3. Hindsight, I should have raised pre-flop with his 6-3. I would have gotten off the hand. I would have been in a different position. And then I lost another hand where I called an open with a king jack suited and didn't hit, got bet off the hand. And I'm sitting there now with exactly 10 blinds, but I'm under the gun. And this is another player has dropped off. I'm now in 10th place. I have $19,000 locked up, and I'm like, all right, now it's time to gamble. I got 20 grand locked up. I'm happy to gamble if I need to. I got 10 blinds. I need to start getting active because these blinds are killing me at this point. I'm under the gun. So my next big blind is 200,000. You know, I got 10 blinds to go. So that means if I fold through this, I'm only going to have 7.5 blinds. If I fold through the big blind and small blind, I look down at ace 10, and this is the time. So I open jam, right? And Giba rejams, and I'm like, great, that could only be like jacks through aces, right? And yeah, he rejams, he opens up, and he has queens. I'm up against ace 10. I flop a 10 on the flop, and I don't get the ace, so I give my 10 blinds to Giba, and he does well with those chips. So that was the end of my tournament. Nothing spectacular, really. Just, you know, got blinded off. Lost a couple modest hands, really small hands, but the blind levels were so big at that point. You really can't lose, you know, 3 hands in a row, or you're pretty screwed. Even if you just lose 3 blinds per hand at that point. So yeah, it was pretty standard play, pretty standard way of going out. It just happened to run into queens. You know, 10 blinds. And, you know, I think hindsight, maybe instead of open jamming there, I can, you know, raise a 2. But either way, if I opened I thought about it, if I opened a min raise to 2 under the gun, Giba's going to 3-bet me there. Knowing how he is, I'll probably just call in that scenario if he did 3-bet me. And he's going to probably 3-bet me to 5 blinds. I'll have 5 blinds behind. I'm going to flop a 10 on the flop, and I'm going to jam the remaining 5 blinds I had anyway. So either way, I lose that hand. It's just, that's the way it goes in these tournaments with the faster blind level. I think if there was a 1 hour blind level, it would be a totally different scenario there. But I'm really happy with how it went. And you know, one thing that I learned about playing this tournament is I've been playing too small. You know, I'm underestimating my ability to play. Not that I'm, you know, one of the best guys there just because I did well, but I can hang with these guys, and I need to play a little bit more. And I had probably I had the time of my life playing poker there. So you're going to see me at some of these bigger tournaments. I'm still going to play the dailies. Don't worry. If you guys are ever out in Vegas and you want to play the dailies, I'm at the Bellagio all the time, the Aria, and the MGM on their Saturday tournament. I'm there often too, and at South Point. If you guys ever want to play, you know, reach out to me. I'd love to play. I'm going to be playing a lot at the WSOP. I'll be vlogging behind the scenes. I won't be able to vlog at the table because I'm not on their vlogger program, but hopefully eventually I can start doing some more vlogs and get on their vlogger program. But hopefully you liked it. And if you guys have made it to the end here, I really appreciate it. If you would subscribe, maybe I'll do a few more of these. Let me know in the comments if you like this. It's going to be a longer format for these videos because this is more of like a diary for me. If people watch it, great. I want to be able to look back at this 40 years from now and be like, yeah, I remember playing that Poker Go Cup. And hey, if no one watches it, I'll watch it. But thank you guys so much if you did watch it. And hopefully you'll see a few more of these. Thanks so much.